Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Norm Bossy, your host for the evening. Stop it. I would like to thank Marie and her wonderful volunteers for providing tonight's dinner to die for. Let's give the Lifestyle Committee and all the volunteers a big round of applause. And especially Marie. She's killed it. She's really been... I would also like to thank Debbie Wells Hooper, sitting right over here, for her artistic skills, her over-the-top imagination, and extraordinary energy. You probably even saw the playbills. The playbills, the size, everything here is her. Take it out, you do. Thanks very much, Martin. Finally, I'd like to thank Judy Webster, co-star of our first play, Love Letters, for her skill as an acting coach and mentor. Thank you very much, Judy. Now, tonight's performance is being professionally recorded, as you can see. Going to interfere with some people, but this is going to be on YouTube for the rest of your life. So get around, move around a little bit if you have to. But please don't try to compete with him, okay? Leave your cameras on. Now, to the play. Those of you over here have already heard from me, and you saw your little thing. You may know we have a little stage here. There's no lighting, there's no headlight, there's no screen for us to do any changes behind the scene. We're pretty good stuff here, but we can do the best we can with your help. And so, second page. It ain't easy for you, man. If you're sitting over there, you've likely read the special announcement left on the table. It explains it for a few brief minutes. If you simply sit, you will miss some very exciting little things that are going to happen. So you might want to, when that flick that lights, that pretty girl in the back there is going to flick the lights. And when she does, you just want to race over behind the where the pictures are there and watch. It's only about 2 or 3 minutes, but you'll want to watch that. And then as soon as that's done, when this door closes, get on back. Remember, quietly, no chatting, there's nothing. So, you got it? Now, by the way, when you're going back, these 3 actors here are professionals, they're professional grade. And they're going to freeze in place while you're moving back. They're not going to do a thing. They want you to take a seat. And they'll just freeze in place, and then when you're seated, I'll give them a high sign, and they'll keep moving. Okay, so then the play will go on. Okay, but out of respect for the hard work and put in by these actors and the crew, please refrain from any noise whatsoever. Please don't start yakking it up, okay? Thank you and enjoy, and please shut off your phone. If you haven't done so already, please shut off that phone. Okay? So, thank you very much.
You guys look great in your Halloween costumes. I think Dave was doing the same old black thing again this year.
Wow. Leave it to Dave to once again throw an extravagant banquet for his very best friends. And while all the poor slobs are gathering in the ballroom, where the heck is Dave anyway?
Well, I sure hope Dave has read our latest quarterly financials, especially after throwing this big kibosh here. It seems like he's spending money like it grows on trees.
Oh, hush up, Jim.
All you ever think about is money.
I bet Dave's paying for this whole evening out of his own pocket. By the way, where is my husband? I haven't seen him for a while.
Hey, Jim, call Nathan and tell him anybody wanting to attend a costume party in the ballroom better have a costume on. Dave said no costume, no entry. Okay.
Perhaps we should start moving over to the ballroom. I don't know who's judging the costumes this year, but an all-expense-paid weekend in Paris would do wonders for my wardrobe. I do intend to win first prize, you know.
Wow, isn't that the famous Broadway actor, Jan Clark? Yeah. Let's go over and say hi.
Mr. Clark, you were magnificent in Love Letters. And so was your amazing co-star, Judy Webster. Nice to see you, dear. Thank you for coming. I'm looking forward to your play. Well, thank you. So are we.
I loved you in Love Letters. That was fantastic.
It was such fun to do.
All right. Oh, isn't that Bob Hooper? Yeah, he's the owner of the Symphony Village Rock and Roll softball team.
I recognize him anywhere.
And the ever vivacious Kevin.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. I know you anywhere.
Oh, Debbie.
What a great wedding season. Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, over there in the corner, a national hero. Joe Sykes and his wife Jan. Let's work our way over there. Come on through here. Ease up. Joe is a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, and now a retired Navy captain. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Joe, for a life of service to our country. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Jan, hey, Jan, good to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Nice you get bacon, Jan.
Nice to see you. Oh,
Sean, give Nathan the old secret knock so we can join the festivities.
The overlords have arrived and are in costume as directed by the boss, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart is nowhere to be found on the ballroom floor, and he's not returned several of my phone calls.
You have to work, Nathan. He's probably upstairs in the guest bedroom entertaining.
Oh, shut the hell up, Betty, and have another drink, for Pete's sake. All right, let's go in.
Looks like Nathan was right. Not too many partiers here yet. I heard Dave invited over 100 people.
I don't see Dave. Ouch, lady, you're stepping on my toes. Hey, Jim, go see if Dave's in the kitchen.
Don, Dave's not in the kitchen anywhere. Hey, let's go check the study where we found him hanging around last Halloween.
Yeah, he was hanging around.
Hey, Nathan, can you get us into the study?
Will do.
All right. Ah, bar. That's what I need. I have a drink, anything.
Mr. Stewart always holds bizarre Halloween parties every year. If he doesn't show up soon, this will be the first time he misses it.
What a jerk.
Oh, Jesus, Dave. What's up? Oh, man. Again.
Hey, Dave, before any other partiers gather in the ballroom, please get up from that ridiculous pose. You wear the same costume every year and do the same dead man shtick every year. Come on, man, get up. Come on, Dave. Come on, man, we got a party to do. Dave. Dave. Holy shit. Dave's not playing dead. Dave is dead.
Oh, shit. any further entry of revelers. And the people that you've already let in, tell them the party's canceled. It's over, Nathan. Dave's dead. Now just do it, please. Hello, give me the police. Yes, this is Jim Harvard, Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of BCA Corporation. Please connect me with homicide. Hello, is this homicide? I'd like to report a man dead on the floor at 100 Bakersfield Lane. Yes, right here in town. Well, he appears to have been murdered. What? Well, 2 long knitting needles sticking out of his chest is one thing. You want me to hold a mirror under his nose to prove he's dead so you'll quit asking me questions and get your ass down here? Okay, Inspector. I'll be civil if you'll just get a hurry on. Dang, they hung up on me. I just spoke with an Inspector Davis. Turns out he's a she. She demanded that none of us touch Dave's body until she gets here. She also said we need to stay put right where we are until she gets here. She didn't say anything about not having a drink, though.
I can't believe anybody would want to hurt my poor husband. Oh, Dave, what have they done to you? And what will become of me?
Oh, quit your theatrics, Betty. We all know you haven't slept in the same bed for years. And your constant nasty remarks to and about Dave have been heard by everyone.
You bastard. A leech and a bloodsucker. You've been living off of Dave for years, spending his money, totally abusing his friendship. And there's poor Dave lying on the floor. And I don't see a word of a sign of remorse from you or compassion.
Easy, you two. My friend and business partner is dead. Soon the police will arrive and unravel this case and hopefully identify the son of a bitch who killed Dave. Until then, cool it. You can trash each other later if you want. Until then, try to keep it together. John, what did kill Dave? Could you tell?
Well, I was so shocked to find out that he was dead that it never occurred to me to look for a specific cause. I'm not a forensic scientist, you know. But I can tell you one thing. He was quite cold and stiff. Been dead for hours.
Wow.
Inspector Davis, this is Mrs. Betty Stewart, wife of my boss, Mr. Stewart.
My condolences, Mrs. Stewart.
Thank you.
Please have a seat.
I will. Thank you.
Inspector, this is John Ketchum, Mr. Stewart's closest friend. He even has a room here at Billionaire's Mansion over in the East Wing.
Mr. Ketchum, nice to meet you. Take a seat.
And finally, over here we have Mr. Jim Harbour. Mr. Harbour has been Mr. Stewart's longtime business partner. They've been in business for over 20 years.
You're the gentleman I spoke with. Nice phone etiquette you got there. Take a seat. Now, before I even approach the body, could someone please explain to me how the three of you, upon entering this room, simply made yourselves at home and made yourselves a drink? Virtually tripping over the body before you even realized he was dead?
I think I can explain. You see, Dave, my buddy lying there, is an eccentric, leaning to extremes when it comes to Halloween. For instance, last year as we entered this very room, we saw Dave hanging over there in the corner by his neck. Well, we all kind of screamed in unison. He certainly appeared dead as a doornail. And then Dave started laughing hysterically. Well, we soon learned that the very week before Halloween, he had his contractor rig a steel bar on the wall, protruded out a few feet, at the end of which was a seat, like one you might see at a children's playground. He climbed up with the help of Nathan put the hanging noose around his neck, kicked over the chair he was on. Well, he sure looked dead hanging there. Now do you see why nothing shocks us?
Well, I gotta admit, that's pretty weird. I guess you gotta be filthy rich to come up with a harebrained scheme that bizarre. All right, everybody remain seated while I check the body. Oh, wow. What we have here is a heinous, vicious, passionate murder. The coroner will determine the cause of death. But from my initial inspection, I can see 3 injuries that could have been fatal. First, a hole right in his forehead, consistent with a small caliber bullet fired from close range. 22, I'd say, is there's no exit wound. Second, there's a garrote tightened around his neck. Third, well, you can see the knitting needles. They're wedged into his chest there. Probably pierced him straight through the heart. Well, the question is, who stands to gain from Mr. Stewart's death? Who had the means and motive to kill and hated Mr. Stewart enough to kill him? Now, before I get started asking questions, let me just explain this to you. Investigators used to walk around with little notebooks, and we'd make notes of the answers that we received, go and research them. Nowadays, we have these tablets we carry around that already contain a great deal of information about all of you, as well as Mr. Stewart. So anybody thinking of whistling up some story that doesn't hold water will go from person of interest to suspect and possible arrest. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ketchum, please stand up. Mr. Ketchum, so tell me about your relationship with the deceased.
Well, Dave and I have been best friends for life. We went to the same grammar school together, the same high school, the same University of Alabama together. And excuse me, Betty, but we banged some of the same chicks, had some of the same successes and failures. We couldn't have been any closer.
Clearly his successes and your failures.
Now, Mrs. Stewart, please, you will have a chance to speak, but refrain from responding to anything during my questioning of
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Ketchum. Now, Mr. Ketchum, I see here that it was reported to authorities that at the last party thrown here by Mr. Stewart, you were very drunk and exceedingly aggressive towards the deceased. You were quoted as saying you were a better man than he was and even challenged him to a duel. Do you have an answer to these charges?
That's all nonsense. We were just 2 good old boys mixing it up like we have many times in the past. It didn't kill him then, and I didn't kill him now.
Mr. Ketchum, it's also a well-known fact that upon his death, you will inherit much of the deceased's personal fortune. You have much to gain from his death, Mr. Ketchum. That is, of course, unless you're convicted of his murder.
Well, just hold on there, Sherlock. Betty here stands to get as much money as I will. Why don't you grill her? She's a bitch, and everybody knows she hated Dave.
You piece of shit! You're a leech and a scoundrel, and I hate you!
Mrs. Stewart, shut up. Mr. Ketchum, I prefer to stay with you for the time being, if that's all right. Is it not a fact that in the basement of this house you had installed a shooting range that you have garnered many awards for your marksmanship and that your winning pistol is a .22 caliber revolver. The hole in your best friend's face looks like one made with a .22.
Coincidence, I'm
Yeah, sure.
Unless some slime bag here is trying to set me up, like frame me.
I want to see the gun to see if it's been fired recently. Fetch it, please. And don't even think about leaving the mansion. There's officers posted at every door. Now, Mrs. Stewart, I apologize. At a time like this, I shouldn't be bothering you. I know you need time to mourn your loss, and I'm so very sorry. But the sooner we can get rid of any of you as suspects, the sooner we will find the killer.
I understand, Inspector. Ask me anything.
Well, the basket over there, is that your sweater or whatever that you're knitting?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you missing any knitting needles?
I was wondering where those needles went to.
Eventually, everything is going to come out. So unfortunately, I have to ask you a few insensitive questions. Is there anything in your personal relationship with your husband that we need to know about? Any arguments, disagreements, extramarital issues?
Oh, no. Dave and I were completely simpatico. We had our moments, but we were madly in love with each other. There were absolutely no issues that would be of any interest to authorities such as you.
Well, pardon me for being blunt, possibly rude, but the boys down at the precinct have you down as the town slut, banging any male walking. And according to his most recent physical, you even brought home various STDs to Mr. Stewart. And it was rumored that he has cut you out of his will.
Those are just incredulous rumors spread by vile good-for-nothing, some of whom are but a few feet away. Honestly, a woman sleeps with a few guys, and she's suddenly labeled as a nympho. What a country. Let me tell you something, Inspector. Jim and John, they've slept with me as well. They should talk. You need to look to one of those two creeps for your killer.
Very interesting, Mr. Stewart. Thank you. Huh.
Well, here's the box that contains my prized pistol.
Uh-huh.
I swear I didn't remove the pistol, but the box does seem rather light.
Do you see a gun in here, Mr. Hesham? I don't.
I
Where
don't-
is it?
I don't understand. It always stays locked in my safe. How on earth did it go missing?
Well, I don't know, but I'm sure you won't mind the forensic team doing a gunshot residue test on your arm. There appears to be some suspicious black burn marks there. You are right-handed, I assume. Uh-huh, yeah. There you go. Uh-huh. Now, who we have? Oh, Mr. Harbour. Mr. Harbour, as Chief Financial Officer of BCA Corporation, I assume you have meetings with creditors and clients and others. Is that true?
That's quite true. Dave also involved himself in many of those meetings and discussions as well.
Are there any creditors or clients that had a beef with the deceased? Any enemies that we should know about?
Well, nobody I can think of offhand. I'll give it some thought, though.
That's nice of you. Yeah. Okay, so as a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps,
Yeah.
when you were on active duty, you were attached to Special Ops, specifically First Force Recon, whose forays into enemy positions allowed for slaughter by silent means, such as knifing, garroting, and the use of silencers.
Well, I was attached to a few units who may have been involved in such activities.
On many occasions, Mr. Harper, you were heard at parties while very drunk to openly brag in great detail about the slaughter. Are you saying now you were lying then?
Oh, give me a break. I see where you're going with this. Just because there's a garrote around poor Dave's neck there, well, you're jumping to conclusions. Or maybe falling for a smokescreen set up by someone else in this room. I resent the implications.
Mr. Harper, as business partner, is there a codicil attached to your will as well as the will of the deceased, which stipulates that upon the death of one partner, the surviving partner gains full rights to the business in its entirety?
Well, that's a standard business practice. I see no reason for that fact in our business relationship to be thought of by you as evidence for a motive for murder.
Oh, I've seen people kill for less, Mr. Harper. Hey, look at this. It's interesting. Even as I drove here, my staff has uncovered a criminal lawsuit that was filed by the deceased accusing you of embezzling $12.8 million over the last 11 years. And as corporate secretary, you falsified records to cover up the ongoing theft. And Mrs. Stewart said that her husband was about to jettison you from your lofty position, even before the trial was scheduled to begin.
Oh, my. These charges are ridiculous and libelous. I'll be vindicated of these false charges and take my rightful place as head of this corporation.
Just so I can fully understand, please explain to me how on your $275,000 annual salary, you can afford 5 luxury homes around the world, 2 personal jets, and a $12 million yacht with a crew of 18.
Well, yeah, I've invested wisely, so I suppose. I've read Donald J. Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, a few times.
All right. I've made my initial view of the murder scene. And I've questioned each of you for initial information. It's obvious to me that one of you is likely to kill. Whereas you each had the means, motive, and opportunity to dispatch the victim. I'm taking you all downtown for more detailed questioning. Nathan, can you come in here, please?
Yes, Inspector.
Nathan, please cover your boss and stay with the body until the coroner and forensic team arrive.
Yes, Inspector.
Thank you. Okay, folks, let's go.
Bye, Dave.
You've been moving.
Well, that was a whodunit. Now, on your tables, by the way, you'll see there's ballots for you to vote on who you think done it. So do yourself and us a favor, fill it out and knock it down. Tell us, and we'll collect them. In fact, drop them on the table where you see the big ballot box over there, right on the end of the table for desserts. The results of your votes will be tabulated and told you before we start the second act. Okay? I don't like the election results. No. All right. So, 15 people said John, his best friend who couldn't stand being his second best, did it. 15 people. Okay. 13 people said Betty, his unfaithful wife. She learned the name of God from Rome. She knew it. 22 people said Jim did it. And Greedy's partner, out with his hand in the biggest candy jar of all, he did it. But what's with these other ones? you've only seen 3 people in the play. So 10 of you thought the inspector did it. What's going on here? Those 10 people better get up. I mean, no, never mind. But isn't that weird? I mean, illegitimate daughter of the... Oh, never mind. But this is the killer. We haven't even had the second act yet. Poor Nathan is ready to do his thing, and 33% of you, 33 of you thought he did it, and all he got is the butler. What's that, Bill? All right, now the conclusion of the play. Enjoy.
Thank you. Very good.
Mr. Stewart, I've worked for you for 12 long years. I admired your work ethic, your civic pride, and your generosity toward many wonderful causes. You truly helped many suffering souls. I know you truly loved your unfaithful wife, Betty. You simply tolerated her adulterous lifestyle. But, as you confided in me, revenge is a dish best served cold. As in, no inheritance. You wrote Betty out of the will, and she knew it. I know you tolerated your blood-sucking leech of a friend, John Ketchum. John, through a lifetime of pandering and backslapping, managed to get you to finance almost all of his harebrained schemes. Through John, I knew, had a deep-seated hatred of you. Why? You were successful at every turn, while he floundered like a fish out of water, waiting to be saved again and again by you, his hated best friend. And finally, there's Jim Harbour. You tried to forgive your thieving partner, Jim Harbour. You knew of Jim's lavish lifestyle, yet you just simply tolerated the ongoing cash drain year after year because your corporation was so profitable. However, when Jim became totally obsessed in his greed and started those wholesale embezzlement schemes, that finally did it. No doubt, Mr. Harbour will face consequences for his crimes. So, they all had good reason to see you dead. You know, Mr. Stewart, I knew you better than anybody. And I knew, which most people did not, that you had a very hateful side to you. You treated me, the person most loyal to you, like a piece of crud on the bottom of your shoe waiting to be discarded. You never, ever showed any appreciation for anything I ever did for you. You were driving me crazy. You were barking loud orders at me. Do this, do that, 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 do this, do that! Like TV. You said I could not watch TV while you were in residence. Why? In your godlike rationale, you said if I watched TV, I would be less attentive to your needs. Really? Whenever I listened to my radio in my room, whenever I played country western music, you would go berserk. At our luxury swimming pool, you said I could not swim in the pool until you were tired at night which was usually quite late. And you always ordered me to be at your side every day at 6 p.m. to make and serve you cocktails. After 2 or 3, you were usually even meaner and nastier than me. You were driving me crazy. And speaking of crazy, what about Halloween candy? You told me that all Halloween candy in Billionaire's Mansion was yours, never to be shared. What you didn't know was, I love Halloween candy! I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it! That did it. I couldn't take any more, couldn't take any more, couldn't take any more, couldn't take any more! So, that told me that there were plenty of reasons for you to be killed by others. But, as you were telling me, driving me crazy like that, driving me crazy, no Halloween candy, no Halloween candy! So, I killed you. Sorry. Oh, hey, sweetheart. How are you? Fine. Listen, it's over. I finally did it. Oh, how? Oh, it was easy. Let me tell you how. You know how Mr. Stewart hated country western music? Well, earlier this afternoon, he was already dressed in that dreadful costume of his. A little bit later, he came barging into my room. Why? Because I happened to turn my radio on country western music very, very loud. He didn't see me hiding behind my door. So I slipped out behind the door, slipped the garrote, which I stole from Jim Harbour early in the day, and put it over the boss's neck. He struggled for a few minutes, but he was fat from so many years of sitting around in the village. After a few minutes of struggle, he became unconscious and sunk to the ground. Then I took 2 of Betty's knitting needles and, borrowing on expertise from a local EMT expert, Steve Nelson, I knew to stab him between the 4th and 5th rib directly into his heart. He bled out in just a few minutes. Then I took a pistol that John carelessly left around Billionaire's Mansion all the time. I took John's pistol and shot him in the head. Because the heart was no longer pumping, there was very little blood or mess to clean up. Yes, dear, I did wear gloves. Listen. Oh, the hardest part was dragging his dead weight from my room over to the study so that no one would suspect me. The hardest part, that was it. You know, those 3 fools that they dragged downtown? I believe they're going to get off in just a few days because the police will not have enough circumstantial evidence to indict any one of them. Mr. Stewart, why did you treat me so mean for so many years, denying me my TV, my country western music, my swimming pool, and my Halloween candy? Oh, dear. Yeah. Listen, why don't you come on over a little later? I know the combination is safe. I'll grab the millions, and together we'll flee to the Bahamas.
Oh, Nathan. Thank you. I left the house intercom on. hoping you would say something incriminating. The obvious what happened here? The obvious cross-framing job you did made me suspect early on that you were the killer. Those three fools and I have been sitting in the parlor listening to you. And I've got it all on tape. I never dreamed you'd bare your soul like that.
It was just a story.
Yeah, it was a good one too. So we're gonna
I'll tell you some more
take
stories.
it down. Yeah, you can tell all the stories you want to the judge. You can take it all downtown, and you are under arrest, sir. Let's go.
Well, the Symphony Village Performing Arts Group hopes you enjoyed tonight's presentation. How about a big round of applause for our dancers over here who did a great job dancing. Nice round of applause for our lighting engineers in the back. Marty McKenzie and Marla Spring. But now, wait. How about showing some love for Betty Stewart, played by Gay Baker? Put your hands together for Jim Harbour, played by John Godfrey. And show some love for Inspector Davis, played by Kateri Coon. And what about Debonair John Ketchum, played by Marty Bartowski? And finally, Mike Hammett, who really killed it as Nathan. Take a bow.
Now, before we leave, as the inspector in tonight's production, I want to let you know something, Mr. Bossy. Your cast and crew have found you guilty. Guilty of doing a great job in writing, producing, and managing the many details of tonight's fun show. Consequently, we believe you deserve a big thank you and a token of our appreciation for this adventure we've all been on. So this is your award. Solid gold. Solid gold. Heavy.
Thank you all. Good night. Thank you very much.
All right, how about one round of applause for Norm and Marie Balsey?
Here, you seeing this? You seeing this?
And one more big thank you, because this person has been of such huge help to us who have to learn so many lines. Really flash support. Judy Webster. Okay. Good night, everybody. Hope you had a good time.
Okay.